ഹലോ ഗായ്സ്, സിംലിത്തിന്റെ പുതിയ വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. കഴിഞ്ഞ വീഡിയോ നമ്മള് ഐസക് ന്യൂട്ടന്റെ വീടാ കണ്ടത്. പക്ഷെ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ കാണാൻ പോകുന്ന ഐസക് ന്യൂട്ടന്റെ എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റ്സ് ആണ്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് പോവണ്ടേ?
ഇതാണ് ഇൻക്ലൈൻഡ് പ്ലെയിൻ.
ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ നോൺ ആസ് ന്യൂട്ടൺസ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ലോ. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് കോൺസ്റ്റന്റ് സ്പീഡിൽ ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ലൈനിൽ പോവാന്നാണ് ന്യൂട്ടൺസ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ലോ. ഇതിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് എ ഡിസ്ക് ഫോഴ്സ്. ഇതിനകത്തിൽ ന്യൂട്ടൻ്റെ 3 ലോസ് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഒരു എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഫോഴ്സ് വേണം. പക്ഷേ ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് സ്ട്രെയിറ്റ് ലൈനിൽ മൂവ് ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ കോൺസ്റ്റൻറ്റ് എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഫോഴ്സ് ആവശ്യമില്ല. പക്ഷേ അത് കർവായിട്ട് മൂവ് ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ കോൺസ്റ്റൻറ്റ് ഫോഴ്സ് അത്യാവശ്യമാണ്. ഇവിടെ ആദ്യത്തെ ഡിസ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഫോഴ്സ് ഉപയോഗിച്ച് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. അതായത് ആ ടേബിളിൽ സ്വിച്ച് ഓൺ ചെയ്തപ്പം ഫോഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ന്യൂട്ടൻ്റെ സെക്കൻഡ് തിയറി അനുസരിച്ച് നമ്മൾ ഈ ഡിസ്കിൽ സ്പീഡും ഡയറക്ഷനൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ദ ഫോഴ്സ് വി അപ്ലൈ ഓൺ ദാറ്റ് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ്.
And you can see how it also speeds up. And as it gets close to the center, it keeps moving faster and faster. So we can see that all of Kepler's observations are true, and Newton proved them to be true with his mathematics. And then another dimension we can add to this.
It's heavy.
Yeah, this is heavier. You feel that,
okay.
and then feel this.
Oh, fine. This is light.
Yeah, that's right. And then if we spin them in the same path, we can see how they behave differently. So set the orange one a little faster, which will throw things off, but you can see already the orange is falling in much faster, whereas the heavy ball is continuing its path for longer. Although as it gets closer, obviously faster and faster. And the metal one will really start to move quite fast when it gets to the centre. So you guys can imagine this planet falling into a black hole as it gets pulled in.
ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടത് ഒരു എലിപ്റ്റിക് ഓർബിറ്റ് ആണ്. കെപ്ലർ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച ഈ തിയറി ന്യൂട്ടൺ തന്റെ മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ കാൽക്കുലേഷൻ വെച്ച് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്തു.
What we can do is if we pop the beanbag in, so if you'd like to pop this beanbag over here on this outside slope, you can just place it down. It should
Place it down.
stick to it.
Yeah,
There we go.
like that.
And then if you place it so if we place this on the inner one, which one do you guys think will fall down first as this stops, or as this spins slower and slower? You think the outside one? Does everyone agree, or do we have some disagreement? You think the inner one? Okay, well let's find out. You can see the inner one falls down slower. So the reason for that is that the radius of the circle that it's orbiting influences the amount of force that it needs to stay in orbit. So as this slows down, the system loses energy, so there's been less force applied to each beanbag. And the way I think of this is a motorcyclist turning a corner. The tighter the turn is, the harder it is for him to stay on the bike. He has to apply more force to turn the corner. Whereas a shallow corner, it's much easier for him to turn the bike and stay on the corner. And that can be applied to a lot of things. We can use it to model the orbits of planets, so a closer orbit will need more energy to be stable. So it has to move faster as it's closer to whatever it is that it's orbiting. We can also use this, for example, to think about spin cycles in a washing machine. The clothes are on the outside edge and the water is forced through the holes on the outside and it passes through the clothes.
ഇനി നിങ്ങൾ കാണാൻ പോകുന്നത് 1665 ന്യൂട്ടൺ ചെയ്ത മറ്റൊരു എക്സ്പെരിമെൻ്റ് ആണ്. ഒരു പ്രിസത്തിലൂടെ വൈറ്റ് ലൈറ്റ് കടത്തി വിട്ടാൽ അതിൻ്റെ കമ്പോണൻസ് ആയ റെയിൻബോ കളേഴ്സ് ലഭിക്കുമെന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. എന്നാൽ നമുക്ക് കാണാം.
Newton shone white light through a prism and found that a prism was refracted, rather a rainbow. So the light comes in and comes out at a different angle, and we can see the rainbow because the different lights come out at different angles. So we get this colour. This actually wasn't new knowledge at the time. They thought that the glass had some kind of quality, some imperfection that was colouring the light, but Newton didn't agree, so he set out to prove otherwise. So he did this in a couple of ways. Number one, he shone white light through a prism, he got the rainbow, and then cut the rainbow off to be just red light, which then went through a second prism. Now if it was the glass that was causing the rainbow to appear, you would have another rainbow even though it was just red light going in. But this wasn't the case, it was actually red light on the other side. So red light going in, red light coming out, the prism isn't doing anything. So the final one really proved it all. White light goes through a prism, rainbow comes out, and then using a special type of lens, he can bring the colours back together and you get white light. So that proved it, that white light was comprised of the rainbow of all the different colours. So we need the three primary colours of light, which are red, blue and green. You might be taught in art that the primaries are red, blue and yellow. That's because paint works slightly differently. Rather than sending out light, it absorbs all light apart from that one wavelength. So it's a different process really, which is why we have different primaries. For light, it's red, blue and green. So when we bring these together, you can see where the blue and green mix, you get cyan. Where the red and blue mix, you get magenta. And then if we take the blue out, mix the red and green, you get yellow. So the secondary colours are cyan, magenta and yellow. Does anyone recognise those colours from anything? Cyan, magenta and yellow, anyone think of anything? So they're actually used in printers. They're the three coloured inks and we can use them to make all the colours. If we mix all three of them we get black, and you can make black ink out of cyan, magenta, and yellow.
If we please repeat,
Mix
sorry.
3 colors.
If we mix, what is the result of that black when we mix the
Sorry.
Green and red will get black.
black?
Oh, yeah. So if you mix the secondary colours that I showed you, so yellow, cyan, and magenta,
Yeah,
and a printer,
yeah,
you get black ink.
yeah.
Obviously, that's quite expensive to be using all three colours,
Yes.
which is why we don't often do that. But it can be done, and mixing the three secondaries in a printer can make all the colours. But we find that when we bring all three lights together, we get white light.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what white light is the three primary lights. But
Fine.
that answers what white is. What's black? Well, black is actually the absence of light, and we can show that
Yeah.
here. So there's three different types of blacks here. Which one would you guys say is the most black? Which looks blackest to you? If you stand on the stool, if you can't see. The one on the left. So there's that one there, this middle one, and this one on the side.
This is the darkest one.
Okay, well, this one here is called Vanta black, and this absorbs almost all of the light. This is the most absorbent material that we have to date, I believe, and it appears the blackest. So that is what black is. Black is when light isn't reflected. You can see here the least black looking one. This is actually just reflecting the most light, and this is reflecting the least light, which is why it looks the blackest. So that's what black is, just an absence of light.
Yeah.
ഇതാണ് ആപ്പിളിന്റെ ഹോളോഗ്രാം. കണ്ടോ? അപ്പൊ guys, ഈ വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടെങ്കിൽ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുക, ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുക, എല്ലാം ചെയ്യട്ടോ. ബൈ.